name's Tammy Austin, and I'm going to be giving a book talk tonight. The first book that I'd like to talk about is called At Home in Mitford by Jan Karon. He left the coffee-scented warmth of the Main Street Grill and stood for a moment under the green awning. The honest cold of an early spring stung him sharply. He often noted the minor miracle of passing through a door into a completely different world, with different smells and attractions. It helped to be aware of the little things in life, he told himself, and he often exhorted his congregation to do the same. As he headed toward the church office 2 blocks away, he was delighted to discover that he wasn't walking at all. He was ambling. You just met Father Tim, father of the Episcopalian Church in Mitford, North Carolina. Father Tim is a gentle, kind soul. He is devoted to his congregation of 12 years and his lifestyle as a bachelor, but change is in the crisp spring air. A very large, homeless dog that only responds to Bible verses, a lonely, lovable, but unloved teenage boy, and an appealing new neighbor named Cynthia. Father Tim has no idea all the changes coming his way. Read At Home in Mitford by Jan Karon. Okay, my next book is called Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophia Kinsella. Becky has a fabulous flat in London's trendiest neighborhood, a great group of glamorous socialite friends, and a closet brimming with the season's must-haves. The only trouble is that she can't actually afford it, not any of it. Her job writing at Successful Savings, yes, the irony of that, not only bores her to tears, it doesn't pay much at all. And lately, Becky's been chased by dismal letters from the bank, letters with large red sums she can't bear to read, and they're getting harder to ignore. She tries cutting back, but none of her efforts succeed. Becky's only consolation is to buy herself something, just a little something. Finally, a news story arises that Becky actually cares about, and her front page article catalyzes a chain of events that will transform her life and the lives of those around her forever. Read about Becky and Confessions of a Shopaholic by Sophia Kinsella. Okay, my next book is called Stiff, and it's nonfiction, Stiff by Mary Roach. The way I see it, being dead is not terribly far off from being on a cruise ship. Most of your time is spent lying on your back. The brain is shut down, the flesh begins to soften, nothing much new happens, and nothing is expected of you. If I were to take a cruise, I would prefer that it be one of those research cruises, where the passengers, while still spending much of the day lying on their backs with blank minds, also get to help out with a scientist research project. These cruises take their passengers to unknown, unimagined places. They give them the chance to do things they would not otherwise get to do. I guess I feel the same way about being a corpse. Why lie around on your back when you can do something interesting and new, something useful? For every surgical procedure developed, cadavers have been there alongside the surgeons, making history in their own quiet, sundry way. For 2,000 years, cadavers, some willingly, some unwittingly, have been involved in science's boldest strides and weirdest undertakings. Cadavers were around to test France's first guillotine, the humane alternative to hanging. They were there at the lab of Linden's embalmers to test that new theory. They were there on paper at congressional hearings making the case for mandatory seatbelts. They've ridden in the space shuttle, okay, pieces of them have, and they even helped a graduate student in Tennessee debunk spontaneous human combustion. However, a cadaver cannot have these adventures until they are no longer a person. A person can never be a cadaver. Once they are a cadaver, the possibilities are endless. They can help the military, go to medical school, solve murder mysteries, or just become worm food. It's up to you. Remember, you only get one chance. Death doesn't have to be boring. Read Stiff by Mary Roach to find out all your many options once you are a cadaver. Okay, my next book is called Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosnay. You may have heard about Anne Frank and Elie Wiesel, but there are stories about World War II that have not yet been told. One of these stories takes place in France in the summer of 1942. Sarah is awakened in the middle of the night by pounding on the door. It is the policeman. Sarah is worried, but then she hears the policemen are speaking French, and she knows that she will be safe. However, Sarah is mistaken. The police have come for Sarah and her family. Sarah's mother is given only a few minutes to pack their belongings. As Sarah's mother sobs and packs, Sarah goes to find her brother. But he refuses to get ready. He hides in the cupboard in the wall that the children play in. It has pillows, toys, stories, and even a flashlight in it. Sarah asks her brother if he's afraid. He replies, "No, I'm not afraid. I'm safe. Lock me in." So Sarah locks him in. She knows that she can let him out in the afternoon when they come back. So Sarah slips her key into her pocket. Sarah and her mother leave with the policeman, never to return. Read Sarah's Keys by Tatiana de Rosny. Okay, my next book is called The Shape of Mercy by Susan Messner. Leaving a life of privilege to strike out on her own, Lauren Dunrow breaks with convention and her family's expectations by choosing a state college over Stanford and earning her own income over accepting her ample monthly allowance. She takes a part-time job from 83-year-old librarian Abigail Boyles, who asks Lauren to transcribe the journal entries of her ancestor, Mercy Hayward, a victim of the Salem witch trials. Almost immediately, Lauren finds herself drawn to this girl who lived and died 4 centuries ago. As the fervor around the witch accusations increases, Mercy becomes trapped in the grip of chaos and fear, unable to fight the overwhelming influence of petty revenge and superstition. And Lauren realizes that the secrets in Mercy's story extend beyond the pages of her diary, living on in the mysterious, embittered Abigail. The strength of Lauren's affinity with Mercy forces her to take a startling new look at her own life, including her relationship with Abigail, with her roommate, and with her family members. Can Lauren break free from her own perceptions of herself and see who she really is? Find out in The Shape of Mercy by Susan Messner. Okay, my next book today is called The #1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. When Precious Ramotatsui decides to use the money her beloved father left her to open the first ever ladies detective agency in Botswana, everyone is critical. Can women be detective? Asked the bank's lawyer. Mrs. Ramatsi herself feels unsure of her success. After all, her only assets are a tiny white van, 2 desks, 2 chairs, a telephone, an old typewriter, a teapot, and 3 teacups. But she does possess the intangible assets of intuition and intelligence. These she has in great supply, along with perseverance, a keen knowledge of the human mind and heart, a steadfast sense of right and wrong, and a personality that inspires trust in nearly all who meet her. What she also has is a deep love for Africa and Botswana and its people. Immediately after opening the doors to the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, she gets her first case. A rich Indian gentleman asks her to spy on his daughter because he thinks she has a boyfriend. Next, a puzzled woman asks her to discover the true identity of the old man who says he is her daddy. She patiently and carefully solves every case, whether big or small, that comes her way. Read the #1 Ladies Detective Agency by Alexander McCall Smith. Okay, my next book is called Daughter of the Forest by Juliette Marillet. Lovely Sorcha is the 7th child and only daughter of Lord Column of Seven Waters. Bereft of a mother, she is comforted by her 6 brothers who love and protect her. Sorcha is the light in their lives. They are determined that she know only contentment. But Sorcha's joy is shattered when her father is bewitched by his new wife, an evil enchantress, who binds her brothers with a terrible spell. A spell which only Sorcha can lift by staying silent. If she speaks before she completes the quest set to her by the fair folk and their queen, the Lady of the Forest, she will lose her brothers forever. When Sorcha is kidnapped by the enemies of Seven Waters and taken to a foreign land, she is torn between the desire to save her beloved brothers and a love that comes only once. Sorcha despairs at ever being able to complete her task, but the magic of the fair folk knows no boundary, and love is the strongest magic of all. Read Daughter of the Forest. Right, and my last book tonight is is called Abby Cooper Psychic Eye by Victoria Laurie. Ever since Abby was a little girl, she could sense things, not in a scary or evil way. Sometimes she just knew what was going to happen next. She announced to her family there would be a fire in the basement 1 week before it happened. She knew about her grandfather's death 10 minutes before the phone call came. And to her parents' chagrin, she proclaimed her father's job was going to be downsized 1 month before he received his pink slip. Because Abby's parents did not believe in the metaphysical, it was as if all of Abby's innocent divining was the actual cause of these problems and that she was forcing them to happen. So Abby learned to keep her mouth shut. For all of Abby's years in college and into her early career in banking, she refused to speak of any future happenings that she envisioned. Instead, if she had a flash of inspiration, she quickly focused on something else and started humming. By the time she was 26, she was humming constantly. But Abby wished she could use her gift to help others. With the help of a friend, Abby took a leap of faith and opened up her own business as a psychic guide. But then one of Abby's clients ends up dead, and all the clues start pointing in Abby's direction. It turns out she knows too many details about the murder for her own good. Can Abby solve this case? Will her psychic ability help or hurt her? Find out in Abby Cooper Psychic Guide by Victoria Laurie. Thank you.